Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Senestech's channel, an agricultural biotechnology life science company managing animal population through fertility control. Joining us, Joel, to take us over the quarter, the Chief Executive Officer. First and foremost, welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate you letting us be here.
A pleasure getting you on. You guys are in a fascinating place, and we're going to break down a lot of aspects of Senestech's product, ContraPest here. But let's talk about the broad, quarter first and foremost. Q1 revenue hit 233K, up 19% year over year, with a massive leap in the company's e-commerce growth of 54%, while operating at an adjusted EBITDA loss of around 1.8 million. Do you want to kind of discuss how the quarter went, maybe some of the stuff driving this growth, and just give us any comments you have?
Certainly. Well, we did have a good quarter, but we can do better. E-commerce growth was great. It's continuing a rapid growth trend that we've seen. There's a lot more potential there, though, as we bring out some new offerings that meet different needs. We haven't really spent much time on marketing Elevate to this channel, and we really need to. In addition, we're about to launch a more convenient and simpler tank tray combination that I think will be wildly successful through e-commerce. In fact, it may be the solution to getting into the retail brick and mortars like Tractor Supply and Menards, et cetera. And then, of course, on the field sales side, the weather in California in the first quarter had a dramatic impact on Q1 activity for agriculture and e-commerce as well. However, Q2 looks to be recovering nicely. That said, we had a number of key wins that bode well for the year's results. So some of those were, in April, we confirmed the County of Los Angeles is continuing and expanding its use of fertility control in current requests for proposal. So we're also seeing continued adoption in Santa Clara, San Francisco, and the whole Silicon Valley. In December, we announced that the city of Los Angeles had ordered and have now deployed ContraPest broadly at the Los Angeles Zoo as part of their IPM program. It's a deployment plan that is expected to exceed 250 bait stations. And so overall, 25 zoos, including 3 of the top 10 zoos in the United States, are now using ContraPest. And when we expand the segment to include animal sanctuaries, veterinary clinics and such, the customer count is much higher, well over 200. Besides being a target market in their own right, zoos and sanctuaries are the ultimate influencers in all things animal. So this continues to be a key focus segment for us. And then on the municipal front, we continue to expand with the latest deployments being West Dallas, Wisconsin, Brookline, Massachusetts, as the publicity surrounding the nation's rattiest cities increases and word gets out about successful deployments like Silicon Valley. We're seeing more municipal and county agencies looking carefully at fertility control as a means of population control. And then finally, last month, one of the largest agricultural grain export companies in the world deployed ContraPest to select grain storage export facilities. But we recognize this is a results business and we need to produce results. And I think we are on the right track there.
I definitely appreciate these insights. And I want to take a different angle here. It's absolutely intriguing. I mean, tell us about grain as a particular challenge globally. I mean, from food supply, I don't think people understand that 20%, with some articles saying up to 40%, has actually lost through contamination to rats. And I just think this is something that nobody's even discussing, that you guys could particularly have a huge vertical in. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Rats pose a particular challenge in agriculture. And due to the outdoor nature of the business, exclusion practices are not very effective. They're not very practical. And due to the foods and food inputs being produced, poisons can pose a real danger as well. So in addition to direct grain consumption that the rats will do, they cause contamination in grains through urine and nesting. They chew through electrical wires and equipment and structures, and that causes millions of dollars of damage through the entire supply chain. Even in cases where populations are controllable for a short time, the movement of food products allows opportunities for populations to move during the transport, especially in grain. So with that being said, with this customer and this initial deployment, our experts work with the pest management professionals to develop and deploy ContraPest as an addition to the existing IPM program. If this follows the success we have seen in other customer segments, this initial deployment represents a significant account growth potential. This customer has over 100 grain terminals along the Mississippi River, so a lot of room for expansion there. I should also note that we have recently been contacted by an international grain shipment company. They are interested in discussing how ContraPest could aid in their efforts to combat destructive rat infestations at all of their shipment facilities. So a lot going on there.
Now, speaking from the success front with some of the past clients, I want to talk about how you know this works in the real world. What case studies do you have, and offer some highlights to the success of ContraPest?
Yeah, we have a great growing list of success stories, successful deployments by customers and by vertical markets. But just rattling a few of them off, start out with agriculture. So we had a West Coast egg farm. So rats like to eat eggs. They had added ContraPest to their egg production facility, and they cut the rat population in half in 3 months, and they produced a sustained 90% reduction over the 12-month study. So you can imagine the amount of eggs that were saved. On the East Coast, pullet, or a young hen farm, the addition of ContraPest resulted in an 88% improvement in pullet survival after reducing the rat population. So the annual benefits that are huge. Projected by the customer, just by adding the ContraPest to their pest management programs, their increase was over $600,000. So increase in revenue due to the pullet survival and decreased cost equals $600,000. The purchase of ContraPest during that period was only about $5,000. Big difference there. And then on the municipal side, a long-term study that we had going on in Washington, D.C. showed decreased activity by 94 to 99%, with no rebound in the population, and the proportion of juveniles to adults decreased by 98%. So that is, in the words of population ecologists, a huge crash. We also are into getting involved in more neighborhood activities. A deployment in a Seattle neighborhood, Queen Anne, they reported a reduction of over 90% with a ContraPest only deployment. So it works by itself as well. And then one of our ongoing customers in Los Angeles, the Best Friends Animal Shelter, they reported 90% reductions when ContraPest was added to their IPM program. And this is a separate success from the County of Los Angeles animal care facilities. So we're being involved in municipalities as well as counties and other government agencies. So these are just a few of the success stories, and they're continuously growing as ContraPest is deployed every day.
Well, on that note, I definitely appreciate these insights, and I'll pass a question off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you think about ContraPest, the broader view here of Senestech in that comment section below, and definitely consider subscribing, because as news comes down the wire, we continue to evolve the story. We're going to update you here. But again, on that, as always, we look forward to catching you in the next one.
All right. Thank you.